far as we can remember, Busan was always number 2, the second biggest city here in Korea, was it not? Apparently, though, this is no longer the case with Incheon, at least economically. So Incheon exceeded Busan in the latest gross regional domestic product for the first time, and yet another sign that the capital area is becoming a vacuum for economic resources. And this isn't just an issue or problem for Busan, but actually the entire country when you think about it. As such concentration of resources may be a disservice to the country as a whole. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Monday, the 10th of March on BEFM 부산영어방송. Good morning, Wavers. Welcome to our program. I hope you had a fantastic weekend and are ready to kickstart the week with me and, of course, the rest of our crew here. You know, this whole issue, are we still the second biggest city in the country? Well, that really does depend on which metric you're using. So population-wise, the answer is still yes, at least for now. But in terms of the productive population, so we're talking about 경제활동 인구, or those who are in the working age group, Incheon has exceeded Busan for the first time ever this year. And this has naturally led to higher production in Incheon. So according to Statistics Korea, Incheon's gross regional domestic product, the GRDP, so we're talking about the 지역 내 총생산, surpassed Busan's figures for the first time in 2023. So the GRDP measures the goods and services from a region. So in essence, it's economic scale. Incheon's GRDP was 116.8 trillion won to Busan's 114.1 trillion. This is on the back of the capital area's fast economic growth, which now accounts for 52.3% of the entire country's GRDP. Well, what does this mean in real life? Companies and jobs, they create two direct factors. Busan does not have a single corporation in the country's top 100 and just 31 out of the entire top 1,000 corporations or companies. So this also affects real estate, where about 3/4 of unfilled new homes, 미분양 주택, were outside the capital area. And this is all connected to, these large companies, because large companies, what do? They create jobs. And so without these large companies, there is not enough capital going around for people to buy homes, and that affects people's stability, the birth rate, and so on. So yes, we talk about regional balance or imbalance, but unless concrete actions are taken quickly, well, this inequality will only continue to grow. All right, now it's time for our text topic. All right, so here we go. Are you ready? Do you follow the rules of grammar and punctuation in your text messages? What is your pet peeve when it comes to grammar or punctuation? 자, 나는 문자나 톡할 때 맞춤법 다 지킨다. 안 지킨다. And 틀리면 이거 진짜 이거만큼 너무 거슬려. 맞춤법 있나요? I'll go first. When I send messages in Korean, I get really nervous. 저는 맞춤법 정말 잘 지키고 싶은데 실력이 not 100% yet. Because, and it's not, some people think, she's trying to be cute. 귀엽게 막 이렇게 아니요 그냥 제 국어 실력이 그밖에 안 되는 거고요. So I always tell my students at the beginning of the semester, when I send you a message in Korean, 한국어로 문자 보낼 때 만약에 맞춤법 틀리면, I said it's the same thing when you send me a message in English. Let's be forgiving of each other's, inconsistencies, we'll just say. So 저는 영어로 할 때는 문제 없는데 when we in Korean, I get so nervous, and I'm like, is it the 아에 바깥 아에, or is it the like the 해 or the 제? That's so for me it's still difficult. And Haley, I ask her all the time, and she gives me this little rule to follow, and I go okay, and then I forget, so Anyhow, my personal pet peeve is getting messages late at night. I don't really care about the grammar or the punctuation, but at least tell me who you are, what is your name, and why are you texting me at like 3 a.m. in the morning? Let's not do that. No. Anyhow, that's my pet peeve. You can send in your messages to BFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. So go to the YouTube platform, type in BEFM 부산영어방송 to find us. And then you can subscribe, log in, and chat with our other waivers. Oh, by the way, so lively today. And I'm going to give a shout out to one person at least for now. Ha, Kevin Nim. Oh, haven't seen you on the board, so welcome to our program. Also, for today, who is in first place? Today, I think it's Monami. Is that correct? If I sometimes it doesn't let me like scroll up high enough, but I think that's who it is. So congrats. Oh, it's Michael? Okay. Really? Okay. See, it doesn't let me go all the way to the top, so I'm sorry. It is Michael. Anyhow, there's always a competition. I love the fierce competition. Pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 101. You can also send in your messages to me for free through Kakao Talk. So same thing there. Search for BEFM and you can add us to send in your messages, your photos as well. The ways you can listen to our program, 90.5 or 103.3 FM on the radio. That's if you're in the Busan area. And also, like I said, we are streaming live right now on YouTube. You can watch again at your leisure. We do have two apps, the BEFM app, and also we're available on the Patbang app, although that's only for the wa글와글 segments. Looking ahead to our Monday morning together, what do we have for you? We have Michael coming in for Showbiz Buzz. We have Business Perspectives with Bobby, and for a special interview, we are going to be covering the latest, biggest news as a court has ordered President Yoon Suk-yeol to be released from detention. So this is after the Seoul Western District Court canceled his arrest warrant. So let's talk about this as it is one of the top stories here domestically with our legal expert. That's coming up in hour number 2. I'll be back with today's headlines. And it is now 7:07. These are today's headlines. Massive rallies take place after Yoon's release from detention. Tens of thousands of people gathered in Seoul and across the nation over the weekend to rally for or against impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol after he was released from detention. Opposition parties call for Prosecutor General's resignation. The 5 opposition parties yesterday called for Prosecutor General Shim Woo-jung to resign following President Yoon's release from detention, warning an impeachment motion against Shim. Pocheon declared disaster zone as damages rise after accidental bombing. Acting President Choi Sang-mok ordered for Pocheon to be declared a disaster area for speedy recovery and support following the accidental bombing of Air Force bombs. Fraudulent insurance claims reach a record high in 2024. The amount of payments collected via insurance fraud climbed to a record high last year, prompting authorities to step up efforts to curb such practices. Clashes in Syria result in mass civilian killings. Entire families are being killed in northwest Syria as clashes between security forces and Assad regime loyalists resulted in the country's highest death toll since the start of its revolution in 2011. And these are today's headlines. It's time for Busan Updates. We have Sue in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, Catherine.
How was your weekend?
It was great. I was super busy.
Doing what?
I attended 2 weddings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Saturday was my best friend's wedding.
Uh-huh.
And yesterday was my brother's wedding.
Really?
Yes.
Your brother's your older?
My younger brother. I'm the oldest.
So he went first.
Yes.
So I'm sure you were super busy, especially for your brother's wedding.
Yes. Lots of 인사 to 어른들.
What did you wear? Did you wear hanbok?
No, I was.
Why?
I kind of wanted to, but
Yes.
then like my family was like, "You're not married, so you don't have to." But
Oh, is that a rule?
I don't think so. Maybe the image of a married woman wearing hanbok is
I see.
looks better.
I don't know. So they said, oh, you don't have to. So you just
Yeah, just I went semi-casual, so
semi-casual for your brother's wedding.
quite casual. Not quite formal.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
I wore heels, which is a
Which
big,
you
big
rarely
deal.
do, right?
Yes, for him.
For your little brother. Well, congrats to
Thank you.
your family and of course your friend as well. Our text topic today is about like 맞춤법, like if you send messages in Korean, because there are stories out there like on the internet saying like, oh, 맞춤법 틀려서 뭐 남친 뭐 정 떨어진다.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh.
I don't really care because my 맞춤법 is terrible. But there are people who are
Right.
like, it's like their pet peeve, right? So what about for you?
I mean, like back to that the story. Is she like a descendant of King Sejong?
I don't know. Like it has to be.
Must be.
Yeah.
I mean, well, when it comes to Korean text, I don't like seeing, you know, how 쌍시옷 받침. Some people use just one 시옷. It kind of bothers me.
It bothers you.
Just that word.
Okay, I'll try to remember. When if I send messages to Sue, check my sangshoot. Okay. What else? Anything else?
Anything else? I can't think of anything. But I like to use like, you know, the abbreviations. Like,
Yes.
you know, talk to you later, TTYL, things like that. Yeah.
You're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yes. And then like I hear like people like especially with English, you know, there's always like capital, lowercase,
Right.
uppercase, and like 그 shift 누르는 거 귀찮으신지 그런 분들 있나요?
Oh yeah. Sometimes when people don't like type in capital S for Sue, I'm
It
like,
bothers you?
It used to bother, but then not anymore. Yeah, I've made.
Oh, well, let me put a disclaimer out there to all the waivers. 제가 그 너튜브에 chatting하는 걸 즐겨요 because I love communicating with my listeners out there. However, like when I'm in a hurry, I don't capitalize. So if
yeah.
any of you are offended, it's not like a slight on you. It's just like I'm in a hurry. And so
That's
shift
very
눌러, I will try to press
thoughtful
shift.
of you. Yeah.
But I will try to, yes, press shift. I will. All right, let's dive into our first update. Busan City will fully implement the Busan-type regional specialized job project. This is to benefit the local residents, correct?
Yes. So this is a public contest project initiated by the city to actively address local employment issues. So they're working with districts, counties, and nonprofit organizations to train people for jobs that match the needs of the communities. And through the contest, 24 proposals, 13 projects from 9 districts were selected
Yes.
with a total of about 740 million won in funding. And the goal is to help around 350 people get jobs or start their own businesses.
Yes, and they want more job opportunities, especially for older adults, I hear.
Yes. So this year, they expanded their job project categories and they're investing 370 million won into 6 job programs specifically for people aged 50 and above. So for its Hasangu district is teaming up with Korea Polytechnic's Busan campus to train skilled workers in refrigeration and air conditioning,
Yes.
helping to fill job gaps in the local industrial complex. And Suyeonggo district is focusing on the tourism industry by offering training for hotel service professionals such as room managers and flower keepers, creating more opportunities for older job seekers.
I see. And, you know, going beyond senior employment programs, there are other specialized job projects too, correct?
Yes. So Junggu district is training ship cargo inspectors, and Namgu district is working with the Korea Quality Foundation to develop experts in manufacturing and quality control. And Haeundae-gu district is partnering with the Haeundae Women's Workforce Development Center to offer a general job training program for MICE convention planners. So MICE industry is a high high value added sector that involves attracting and hosting international conferences, exhibitions, and incentive tours and events.
Indeed.
And anyone who is interested can contact their district or county employment department or the respective project organizations for more information.
And hopefully all of this will be helpful for people out there who are seeking jobs. We're going to move on to our second item. This is regarding South Korea's baseball museum. So this is really happening. Construction is expected to start in May, right?
Yes. So the Korea Baseball Museum, which will also be the Hall of Fame for Korean baseball, is finally gaining momentum thanks to Busan's supplementary budget allocation.
Sure.
So the city recently has set aside 5 billion won in the first supplementary budget plan for 2025. And originally, the museum was supposed to break ground in January, but a lack of funds delayed things, and the project needed at least 7 billion won for construction this year. But only 2 billion won was approved in the main budget. So with the additional funding, construction is now back on track, pending approval from the city council. If passed, construction is expected to begin in May.
Right. I mean, I remember the first time I even heard about this project. I mean, this has been, in the making for a really long time.
Yes. So it was like 13 years ago that Busan and Gisangun County were chosen to host the museum as part of the celebrations for the 100th anniversary of Korean baseball.
Yes.
So the museum will be located in the Ilkwang Amusement Park Baseball Theme Park, and it will feature a Hall of Fame as well as a collection of baseball memorabilia, 수집품. So the museum will be a 4-story building, 1 underground and 3 above.
I see.
And if everything goes according to the plan, it should be completed by next May with the grand opening in December. And the entire project will cost about 19 billion won. And once it's opened, it will host Korea's first Baseball Hall of Fame induction ceremony, 헌액식, honoring some of the greatest players in the country's baseball history.
Wow. So what an honor to have it in our neck of the woods. So really looking forward to that. All right. Next up, let's talk about 송정, which is going to honor a beloved children's song, Island Baby, with a memorial. What is the song? I'll be honest, I don't know what it is.
Yes, Catherine. Can you just bear with me for 8 seconds?
Okay. Here we go. Oh, you're going to sing it?
Yes.
Okay.
엄마가 섬 그늘에 Okay, I was stuck. 굴 따러 가면
I think I've heard it. I've heard of the
Yes.
song.
It's a very heartwarming lyrics. So it's really one of the famous children's songs in Korea. If you were born and raised, then you would have heard it. 네. Yes. So okay.
Yes.
A monument inscribed with the lyrics of Island Baby, 섬집아기,
Yes.
will be built in 송정, Busan. And the project is led by the 송정동 Development Committee, and it plans to celebrate the song's cultural significance. And originally, the song was a poem by a children's literature author, Han In-hyun. And Island Baby was published in 1946, and later it was set to music. And Han wrote it while watching women gather oysters in the waters near Songjang,
Really?
reminiscing about his late mother and his hometown Wonsan.
Wow. So I hear that this song is or has gained international recognition as well, right?
Yes. Apparently, many foreign choirs even performed the song.
Oh.
And like I said, it was a poem at first, and the poetry collection called Dandelion 민들레 동시집 was published to commemorate 한글날 in October 1946.
I see.
So with support from the 한인연 Memorial Association, the committee plans to complete the monument by October this year. And they hope that it will provide a cultural attraction for visitors.
Ah, yes. And message from Souvenir who says, 섬집아기, the song that you just sang, 제 딸에 제가 아기 띠하고 재울 때 돌 전에 불러줬는데 너무 많이 불러줬는지 커서는 기겁해요. So, in a nutshell, Souvenir used to sing this song to her daughter when, or to their child,
Yes.
딸 맞죠? Daughter when they were a baby, and now it's like I guess she's saying it so much. It's like she can't stand it anymore.
Right.
Oh, what a funny,
Yes.
heartwarming story.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that. Thank you for that message and for reminding us what that song is all about. Let's move on to the Busan International Short Film Festival, BISFF, which will hold a series of free traveling film screenings as part of its pre-festival activities.
Yes, this year the screenings scope has expanded to include not only culturally underserved areas in Busan, but also cultural and artistic facilities and schools that wish to host screenings. So a total of 16 institutions applied and 5 locations were selected for the screenings. And the screenings will take place at Busan Jingu District, Seogu District Welfare Center for People with Disabilities,
Yes.
Busan Education History Museum in Sagu District, and Busan Social Welfare Center in Dongnaegu District this month.
Yes.
And in April, it would take place at Gyeongsang University Department of Theater and Film in Nanggu District. And the selected films include the festival's major award-winning works. They were chosen to offer enjoyment and emotional impact to audiences of all ages. And the 42nd BISFF will be held from April 24th to 29th at the Busan Cinema Center and BNK Busan Bank Art Cinema.
I see. Thanks for letting us know about this BISFF coming soon. All right, lastly, the U.S. consulate in Busan is currently recruiting interns for the second half of 2025. So for anybody who's interested, students, you should apply. But, there are some caveats. So let's hear who's this open to?
So the Foreign National Student Intern Program is designed for students who are non-U.S. citizens
Right.
seeking internships with U.S. missions abroad. So students will gain valuable experience in various areas like foreign policy and management and possible academic credit in respective institution.
Yes.
And the internship period will begin in August 2025 for a maximum of 6 months. And the closing date for deadline is March 16th, 11:59 p.m. Korea Standard Time.
Right.
And for more information, people can check out the website, U.S. Embassy and Consulate in the Republic of Korea.
Right. So if you are eligible, you might want to sign up for this. So what exactly is this? So, for students who want to do what?
To go through the internship, like a training period to
yes.
learn about the foreign policy and possibly to secure jobs in the consulate and embassy department.
I see. So I'm sure they're going to gain a lot of experience if they do sign up for this. Thank you for all the details of all of the updates. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
All right, and I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It is now 7:23. Here is your traffic report. It looks backed up on Manduk-daedo right now from Minam to Manduk intersection and Manduk Tunnel in both directions right now. Congestion on Jungwangdaedo from Yeonsan intersection to Seomyeon intersection. Heavy traffic detected on Dongso overpass from Bumnikgo ramp to the old Kaegum toll gate. It's also slow moving on Nakdongdaedo from Gwaejong intersection to Hadan intersection. It's currently 4 degrees Celsius in Busan under clear skies. It's going to go up to 13 today, as you can just hear right now. Big gap between day and night, so dress accordingly. Across the nation, spring-like weather with mostly clear skies, but Jeju may start to see some rain starting tonight. If you are in the capital area, Sejong, Chungnam, or Jeonbuk, find-us levels are bad in these regions, so please take care. This was your traffic and weather.
Are you an early bird? Are you up to date on the news? Are you a trendsetter? For all of the biggest issues from Busan to the world and useful information you need, right here on Morning Wave in Busan.
It's now time for News Digest, which means Haley's here. Good morning.
Good morning.
How was your weekend?
It's pretty good, pretty good. Can I say I did something incredibly stupid? So I ordered dinner. I was out and about, and I saw this salad place right across the street from where I was. I was like, okay, I'll order a takeout. And then I went, I waited, I got an alarm on my phone. Your food's ready. I go up, and I'm like, my food's ready. And they're like, we didn't get an order. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, number 4, I ordered on the, the portal site, and they're like, we didn't get any orders. So I was in Kaegum. I apparently put in an order to the Jeonpo branch. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
So what did you do?
I took the subway.
To go pick up your salad?
What was I supposed to do? Because it was ready. I got an alarm that it was ready. I mean, if it had been like Haeundae, like somewhere far, I would have called and apologized. Like, can you give it to someone else just for free?
Right.
But it was like Jeonpo is so awkwardly close enough, but still really far. Yeah. Oh, by the way, a kicker. I had the famous yogurt ice cream place, the really expensive yogurt ice cream place
how was
that
it?
my mom has grown a taste. She loves it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I had it. I got I got that takeout first. So it was like hanging on my arm as I was schlepping to Jeonpo to get my salad.
Did it melt?
It didn't. Actually, it was incredible. It was like 40 minutes, didn't melt. So yeah, great weekend.
Oh,
Got a lot of steps in.
Oh, hence now everything makes sense. Your Insta thing.
Yeah,
I was like, what are you talking about? Okay. So for a text topic, though, pet peeves when it comes to texting, about 맞춤법, about like spelling errors.
Well, apparently I can't tell the difference between Kaegum and Jeonpo, so that's a is that a typo thing? Is that
Yes.
I don't know what it is. Your and you apostrophe re. I do I try not to be judgy because my Korean 맞춤법 is so bad. My sister, my younger, I have to ask my younger, like how you ask me.
Yeah, I asked you.
I have to ask my younger sister.
really?
And she's like, 아직도 몰라? And I'm like, okay, you want to go off on this in English? Like you want to
Yes.
fight? But yeah, I just you're really just
For me, they're there.
and they're there.
They're there.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Because there's they
뭐라
are there, and then the 소유격 there, THEIR, and then
Yes.
저기 there,
저기 there,
THERE. Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah, there is
It's
a
okay
difference.
though. I don't get annoyed. I just once again,
Well-
do not text me at 3 a.m.
That's true. I don't get annoyed if English is your second language,
Yes.
if Korean is your
Of
second language.
course.
Korean's my mother tongue, so I have no excuse. But if it's your mother tongue,
There
and
should
it's
be no
very
excuse.
basic.
Yes.
Yeah, you're there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Let's jump into our first story. Big story. President Yoon Suk-yeol was released from detention.
Right. So this was kind of a surprise to everyone, his supporters and others. On Friday, Seoul Central District Court approved Yoon's defense's request to basically cancel his arrest and release him. And
Yes.
that decision came 47 days after the detention, and he was released on 52 days after the warrant was approved.
Right.
So the prosecution, instead of appealing the case, which would have been 항고 포기, they released the president the following day. So it's kind of taking the safer option, as the Constitutional Court in the past, they've ruled against such immediate appeals to block the release of a defendant. So Yoon was released from Seoul Detention Center, arrived at his presidential residence around 6:20 p.m. Saturday evening. He had a quiet dinner with his wife and some top aides, a Chief of Staff Chung Jin-seok and Presidential Security's Deputy Chief Kim Sung-hoon. He apparently told his aides, who then told the press, that his health is fine. He slept quite well during his time, and that actually improved his health. And he added that even as president, he learned a lot from his time at the detention center. He also added that he read the Bible quite a bit during this time. The presidential office added that Yoon will be refrained as much as possible, kind of keeping quiet in his home before the impeachment ruling comes out.
I see. Well, the parties, they have something to say, I'm sure. They released statements too.
They have a lot to say.
Yes.
So the parties are both monitoring how this might affect their impeachment ruling. Before the ruling People Power Party, the PPP, they're now claiming that the cancellation of detention is basically confirmation of the flaws in the investigation process as a whole. They claim that although the Constitutional Court isn't ruling on the insurrection charges, that it should carefully and meticulously rule on impeachment with this in consideration, maintaining the position that the Constitutional Court's trials were procedurally flawed as well, including not granting the president enough time to defend himself and having delayed the prime minister's impeachment verdict.
Well, I do want to hear about the main opposition party as well.
Right, so the Democratic Party fiercely criticized the prosecution for releasing Yoon and also called on the Constitutional Court to promptly rule on impeachment. The DP's chair Lee Jae-myung said that just because the prosecution's math was wrong, which is what resulted in this release, it doesn't erase the fact that Yoon's unconstitutional military coup, according to E's words, it destroyed constitutional order. But then, of course, there are concerns that while on principle, the two cases are completely separate, the impeachment and this detention cancellation.
Yes.
But it seems that if the courts raise a question over the investigation and the rights of the CIO in investigating the case, there might be some other questions to answer.
I see. So speaking of that, the ruling or the math that you just referred to that may have led to the release of President Yoon from detention, we need to go over that.
Right. So, of course, we have Professor 총살형 in our number 2, who
Yes.
is much more equipped and, he is the expert. But basically, the math whittles down to whether we are counting the days versus the hours. So what does this mean? Let's go into this.
Okay.
So the logic was that the detention extension that was granted on January 26th was actually approved hours after the initial detention period had already expired. So there was a gap. Because the law says that the period where the suspect is in detention while the arrest warrant is submitted to the court, it then back to the prosecution. So while the papers are being passed back and forth between the court and the prosecution, those hours do not count in the number of days one is under detention. So for example, if this period was 2 days, where the papers were passed back and forth.
Yes.
And detention says that the suspect could be questioned for 10 days. Then the actual number of days the prosecution could physically hold the suspect would be 12 days because, again, the paper passing period does not count into the official days. However, the legal question here was that whether that time would be counted as days, 일수, 하루 이틀, or hours. Right. So usually in the past, it has always been counted as days. So
Yes.
for example, if the papers were submitted at 5 p.m. today and returned at 3 a.m. the following day, tomorrow morning, then it would be 2 calendar days. 이틀, 오늘, 내일. Right. However, if you calculate the hours from 5 p.m. today to 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, that's only 10 hours.
Right.
So 10 hours is under 1 day. So the math the court counted for the first time ever was that if it's 10 hours, it's 1 day, even if it went past the 2 calendar days. So it's interesting that this is the first case that the math was different.
Okay. Well, that is kind of the top domestic story for now. We're going to leave that there. And once again, we have our special interview coming up in hour number 2, so stay tuned for that. Next, let's talk about this. Another major development in another drawn-out issue. The government has scrapped the medical school admissions expansion for next year, and we kind of said that this might be coming last week, right?
And it did, and it is huge news. So the Ministry of Education announced also on Friday that it has reached a conditional decision to go back on the medical school quota expansion for next year. So that means that the quota for the year 2026 will be 3,058, the figure from the last year before the 2,000 additional spots were added to the quota.
Sure.
So this was the proposal that was made by the deans and the presidents of medical schools nationwide. But This is a decision from the Education Ministry. The other major part, the Health Ministry, was actually absent from this briefing.
Yes.
The Health Ministry is the one that actually has the authority to decide on the medical school admissions quota. And they issued a very brief statement, 230 words, saying that while they understand the Education Ministry's intention, the issue should be resolved fundamentally through the necessary procedures, which shows a rift between these two ministries.
Once again, this is conditional, though.
Right, 조건부, right? So the Minister of Education, Lee Joo said that this is upon the condition that all students come back, or the students as a whole come back to classes by late March. So if the whole of medical students do not come back by this time, the government will withdraw the measure.
I see.
So the ministry clarified that they actually don't have a specific number as to what the whole of the student, 전체 학생, would mean, but that it should at least be a reasonable number. So
Okay.
it's still quite vague. The government also offered 4 different proposals for the students, because the problem right now is the freshman class right now would be the class of 2025 and the class of 2024 who
Right.
didn't come to classes at all last year. So how those two would take classes together and how the board certification exams will go. But again, there could be as many proposals as possible, but if the students don't come back, then the Education Ministry would follow procedures, and the students who don't come back could be held back or even expelled.
Yes. And, this will cause, I'm sure, major confusion for admissions.
Right. So this is, again, for the students who are already in medical school. But what about the students who have been getting ready for the 2026 admissions?
Yes.
So the top natural sciences students have been preparing for the medical school admissions on the basis that it would be an expanded quota. However, now it's the question of what now?
Yes.
So if the 2026 admissions, they go back to the previous level despite the increased demand, this will create chaos. So experts say that there will be cases that even if a student next year gets high enough scores, so higher scores on their CSATs than a student who made it into medical school last year did, that student next year might not get in just because the demand was higher, but the slots are actually smaller than compared to this year.
Indeed. So that's where we are on med school quota. Now, we're going to talk about the relationship between the U.S. and Ukraine, which has been fraying, deteriorating. Russia has seized the opportunity to attack Ukraine again.
Right. So things on the battlefront getting heated up again. Dozens of people died in Ukraine in the latest wave of Russian attacks.
Yes.
So Russia has intensified its attacks, including over the Donetsk region and Kharkiv and Odessa. So this is problematic because the U.S. has suspended not only military aid, but also intel sharing with Kyiv. And of course, that follows the Oval Office clash, the famous clash between President Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky.
Yes.
So after the latest Russian attacks, the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said, "This is what happens when someone appeases barbarians." So again, Europe is trying to kind of readjust after this rift and the close Russia and U.S. relations. So this is something that we'll keep a close eye on.
Yes. So thank you for going over all the news. And of course, we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you.
See you in a bit.
And with that, let's get back to you, the listeners. And so our text topic is this. And I think it hasn't. Oh, yes, it has been posted in our NoTube chat room as well. Do you follow the rules of grammar and punctuation in your text messages? Yes, no? What's your pet peeve? Whether it's grammar, punctuation, something that really bothers you. 너무 거슬리다. 맞춤법. Some people are sticklers for that, meaning you're very particular or picky, trying to follow the rules. Other people, not so much. So again, Waiver says 맞춤법은 계속 눈에 띄고 거슬려요. 그렇다고 완벽하지는 않아요. It's a two-way street. But I'm sure many people fall into this category. Like certain things like really stand out to you and bother you, yet it doesn't necessarily mean you're absolutely perfect yourself. Tommy says, I try to follow the rules, but I am not perfect. So I'm sure that's a sentiment of many waivers out there. Let's get your take on it. In the meantime, here is Kat's Pick for Monday. For today's Cat's Pick, I couldn't resist. Oh, by the way, I have an update. Do you remember Jackie and Shadow, the bald eagles, the couple, and their two little ones hatched? Well, just like yesterday, number 3 came. But today's Cat's Pick is about a penguin named Marley. Here's a clip from NBC News.
Wow, it's so beautiful.
When it comes to art, it really doesn't get more black and white than this.
Wow, a little spin. I like that choice. Good girl.
Yes, that's a penguin whimsically waddling over a canvas and clearly loving every second of it. Meet Marley, the 21-year-old Northern Rock copper penguin who for 2 decades has been creating these festive footprint masterpieces to little fanfare. Until this video on TikTok of her painting and being praised went super viral recently, amassing 60 million views and more than 32,000 comments. Like, why was I not informed that penguin art assistant was a career option? Bucket list, art projects with penguins. My favorite, I would skip paying my rent for this artwork.
I've done a lot of Zoom interviews in my career, but interviewing a penguin has to be a first. Hi, nice to meet you.
As you may have guessed, Marley is less of a talker, more of a squawker. But fortunately, her assistant, penguin biologist Janie Konetsky at Moody Gardens in Galveston, Texas, fills us in.
We have other penguins that do this, but what makes Marley so unique?
Marley's personality is 1 in a million. She has the most social butterfly attitude that I've ever seen in my whole life.
Teaching Marley to paint, as well as a few other penguins, was a step-by-step process. An idea born from watching the already social by nature rockhoppers appearing to be interested in their own footprints. From there, it was a matter of making sure they were comfortable with the tools, and the rest is art history. The aquarium at Moody Gardens is home to more than 100 penguins, including rockhoppers, all named after rock stars.
Oh, beautiful.
But it's Marley, named after Bob, who steals the show, jamming with each piece she stamps. About 200 pieces now.
I think her looking at the paintings and just having that interaction with the guests really just makes her stand out.
Marley is also an ambassador for her species. Northern rockhoppers are endangered, with an estimated 480,000 left in the wild. Her newfound stardom also helping raise money towards animal conservation. Demand for Marley's artwork has skyrocketed, selling for $50 a pop online.
I love animals. Can you tell? Cat's Pig's always full of animals. So Marley, I looked up Marley's artwork. In the clip, it said like $50. Actually, I saw one just a little while ago, right before broadcast time. It was going for $210. Would you buy any of Marley's artwork? Because remember, it's going to, conserve the environment and, it's for a good cause. Would you? And this was Cat's Pig for today.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Morning Wave in Busan.
It's time for Showbiz Buzz. We have Michael in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. Spring is coming.
It is. I
can feel it's still cold.
It is.
But there's that spring vibe, you know what I mean? Like you can smell it in the air.
Hence, I have a bright green shirt signifying spring.
Yeah.
It needs to come quickly,
And
but it's still cold.
There's one more.
Yes.
There's the fine dust.
Oh, yeah.
미세먼지. Yesterday was bad.
It's back.
But I think it's spring.
Uh-huh.
So we need 미세먼지.
Yeah, sure we do. Yes.
Sad times.
Hey, text topic today. It's all about when you're text messaging someone, 맞춤법. Are you good at it? Do you follow the rules?
I'm kind of a
grammar.
I'm kind of a person who always look up the grammar before I text anything.
Oh, you do?
I have to make sure that whatever I'm sending, it should be grammatically correct.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have that thing for that, like a little obsessiveness.
That's good. I mean, for
Yeah.
I guess the receiving end especially, like you're
Yeah.
like it's done correctly.
This one thing that always gets me or confused is 로서 and 로서. You know the difference?
No, I don't even know what you're talking about.
강현민으로서 and 강현민으로서.
What's the difference?
I have no idea. Like every time I have to look it up on the internet, to make sure that it's correct. I mean, but the two are completely different grammars. I mean, sentences.
I have like 이름님.
Yeah.
Like 안 돼요, 안 돼요. And then I get confused. 안 됩니다. Like
That's true because 안 돼요 it's I.
and then 안 됩니다 할
But 안
때는
됩니다 is like
just
just one.
Yeah.
just the
Who made
stroke.
that rule? 짜증나네요. 너무 힘들어요.
김세종.
죄송합니다. Okay. No, because it's for a non-native Korean, like
It is confusing.
it's really difficult.
I mean, even for me too. I mean, I'm a native Korean speaker.
저
and
아직도 해요 그것도. I get lectured. I ask Haley all the time, and I'm still confused. And then my producer's writing something. 어를 넣어서 말이 되면 돼. With a 돼지 돼. 안 돼요.
아이. 어를 넣어서 많이 되면 돼 아이. It's difficult.
그냥 안 쓸게요.
Yeah.
그냥, I
It's
just won't use
difficult.
it.
It's difficult.
Yes,
It's difficult.
yes.
Yeah.
So, hence. All right, let's jump into our first story for Showbiz Buzz. What is it?
I guess this is a bittersweet news for the film industry. 봉준호's new film Mickey 17 topped the North American box office this past weekend, which is a good news, marking the first
Yes.
time a Korean director has achieved this feat. However,
Yes.
despite the strong opening, the film's box office earnings in its first week fell short of expectations, leading to concerns that it will struggle to recover the significant production and marketing costs. So according to Box Office Mojo, a film industry tracking website,
Yes.
Mickey 17 was released on March 7th and earned $19.1 million over its opening weekend across 38,000 North American theaters, securing the top spot at the box office. But industry experts had previously estimated that the film's opening North American earnings would be around $20 million. So a little short of the expectations, right?
Yes, yes.
So Hollywood media pointed out that the film's performance fell short of expectations and that it would be challenging for the investment and distribution studio Warner Brothers to recoup the $118 million of production cost. So Variety cited industry insiders saying that with an additional $80 million spent on marketing, Mickey 17 would need to earn between $275 million to $300 million globally to just break even.
Just to break even.
Just to break even. So that's so one of the sources commented, unfortunately, the revenue from this original sci-fi film has not met Warner Brothers' expectations, adding that it's been a sad weekend for Warner Brothers. And Mickey 17 is also going through a poor rating scheme. The movie received a relatively low grade of B from CinemaScore's audience survey, which ranges from A to F. So most major box offices hits typically receive an A rating, but Mickey 17 did not. Mickey 17 is Bong Joon-ho's first film in 5 years since Parasite, which won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture in 2020. Parasite defied expectations by making a strong comeback at the North American box office after Oscar win, even reaching 4th place in the daily box office rankings despite being a foreign language film.
Yes. And so disappointing, I guess.
There's
box
there's good
office
and the
critically.
bad in this news, but it's just first week. So let's see how it turns out. Maybe things will change.
Yes.
For the better.
We'll see.
All
right, let's go to our next item.
Yeah. In the K-pop world, Adore, the K-pop girl group New Jeans' agency has filed a complaint seeking to ban the group's music activities, according to the group Thursday, marking the latest development in the ongoing dispute between the agency and the artists.
Sure.
The group, which rebranded as NJZ early last month, revealed on its social media that Adore filed a complaint on February 11th, demanding the court prohibit the group from all music activities, including songwriting and performances, as well as related promotional endeavors. The latest legal action expands upon Adore's previous requests for the group to stop commercial activities while maintaining the agency status as their official representation.
Sure.
NJZ claimed Adore is essentially attempting to prevent them from participating in any entertainment activities whatsoever. Adore, however, countered that the latest legal action was inevitable as the group continued music activities,
Right.
including plans for overseas performances, amid the ongoing legal dispute over the agency's representation. So the Adore NJZ dispute continues.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, we've been
I mean,
covering this for a while. Yeah, I don't know when this is going to end, but
So, I mean, this is kind of like setting a sort of a maybe may set precedents either which way. Like this is a major case.
It's going
and
to
hence
be,
we're
yeah.
continuing to cover it because it is in the realm of entertainment, but still an important case.
yes, definitely.
All right, let's move on to our next item.
Yeah, so now a little bit of issue that I wanted to share with the Weavers.
Okay, what is it?
Do you know this song, by the way? I'm going to just sing just a short part of it
Okay.
so you can guess what it is. Guess the genre.
Okay.
Okay, if you don't know the song title.
Sure.
Okay. 테스야 세상이 왜 이래 왜 이렇게 힘들어 테스 형 소크라테스 형 사랑은 또 왜 이래 Can you guess what it is? The genre or the,
The
song
genre?
title. Yeah.
It's supposed to be
맞아요.
Okay.
트로트 맞아요. 트로트.
네.
트로트. People actually get a lot confused when it comes to this one though. But like if it's a 포크송이에요 아니면 트로트예요. But it is trot.
네.
트로트 송입니다. And the reason why I'm singing this
Yes.
is, when we talk about culture in Korea, the first keyword that pops into my mind is K-pop usually, right?
Yes.
But it's interesting that data show that inside Korea, so outside from global, scale,
Yes.
inside Korea, this throne of popularity is taken by names that may be totally unfamiliar
Such as?
to music listeners abroad, such as Im Young-woong,
Yes.
송가인, 영탁, and 이찬원.
I mean,
they're-
but like Im Young, he's like so popular.
He is. And
Highly
all of
popular.
them are trot singers. 트로트 가수들이죠.
네.
So these stars have been topping local music charts since the late 2010s with fandoms just as fervent as K-pop fans.
Sure.
So they stream online music with multiple accounts to push their favorite singers up the charts, make donations in their star's name to make look them good,
Yes,
and buy
yes.
multiple album copies to get a chance to take part of the meeting. So, just same thing is happening with K-pop, but also trot as well. So the Korean trot genre refers to the 2-beat-based music style. So that means 쿵짝, 쿵짝, 쿵쿵짝, 쿵짝, 쿵짝, 쿵짝. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So that began in the 1930s. And its roots go back to the Japanese enka music that spread in Korea during the Japanese colonial period. So it began by Korean people singing translated songs of Japanese enka music in the 1920s and led to newly composed music by local creators by the 1930s. But so this trot tradition continued, but with the rise of K-pop music in the early 2000s, along with other types of trendy and contemporary music, 트로트 had actually come to be known as somewhat out of style, a genre only reserved for the senior citizens who had grown up listening to it as children. It was in 2019,
Yes.
however, when cable channel TV Joseon turned the tide with an audition program titled Miss Trot, and succeeded in ushering in a genre renaissance.
Yes.
So, like, how popular is trot in Korea? So, I think there's a symbolism here. There have been only 6 acts that have held solo concerts at Western Seoul's World Cup Stadium.
And we have to end on this. So who are they?
Psy,
Uh-huh.
Big Bang, G-Dragon, 17 IU, and then the first Mr. Trot winner, Im Myung-woo.
Yes.
So we can show how popular trot is in Korea. And this is
Indeed.
something that we can definitely think about.
Right.
Very different from K-pop, but still popular.
It's so Korean. Well, thank you so much for getting into the nitty gritty of all the showbiz buzz. And we'll check in with you next week. Take care, Michael.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, it's time to wrap up already. Hour number 1. So here is 맞춤법 절대 안 틀린 노래 by 관아.
어떤 해는 없는 말 나타났다 나무 맞춤 옆으로 돌리면 우주로 같으니까 A보다 B가 더 낫다는 시옷 받침 안 아픈 게 더 낫지 감기할 때도 낫다 친구 아플 때 받침 없이 나라고 해주세요 이 받침 나타나긴 않는 겁니다 빨리 나는 순간기원입니다 상시온 낫다는 다 인생한 겁니다 감기 모두 다 낫다는 큰일 난 겁니다 안과 안 구분하는 방법은 아니너 말되면 안 아니야 너 말되면 안 나쁘다 아니 나쁘다 말되니까 안 나쁘지 않다 나쁘지 아니야 말되니까 안 회상은 넌 나머지는 넌 그랬던가 함수 회상하니까 회상은 넌 하든지 말든지 알아서 해 화가 난다 그러니까 세부의 맞춤법 절대 안 들리는 노래 헷갈리면 간간히 들으세요 한결같이 쓸 때는 간간히 감았습니다 간간히는 하는 듯 노래하면 배우게 돼 듣다 보면 외우는 노래예요 한결같이 받침 없는 말 뒤에는 예요 받침이 수건이에요 아니에요는 예외
Your bridge to the world.
and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어방송.
지금 방송 광고라는 부메랑을 던져보세요. 소비자를 향해 정확히 날아가는 광고. 힘차게 돌아가는 경제. 부메랑처럼 다시 기업의 이익으로 되돌아오니까요. 방송 광고, 경제에 큰 힘이 됩니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Good morning, Dynamic Busan.
Yeah, you're waking up. Time to shake it up. Tell the world good morning and find out what's going on.
Well, hi there, folks. There's everything from comedy to lively chat to music.
Broadcasting from a room about the size of your closet.
All calls are recorded. What show is this?
Live from Korea's dynamic city, this is Morning Wave in Busan.
I'm sorry, who'd you say you were?
It's now 8 o'clock. This is News Highlights. Massive rallies take place after Yoon's release from detention. Tens of thousands of people gathered in Seoul and across the nation over the weekend to rally for or against impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol after he was released from detention. On Saturday, Yoon was released from the detention center where he had been held since mid-January over his failed martial law bid in December, after a court ruled that his detention was invalid. Even in the absence of physical detention, Yoon still has to stand trial of charges of leading an insurrection and is awaiting the verdict of the Constitutional Court on whether to uphold or dismiss his impeachment. Opposition parties call for Prosecutor General's resignation. The 5 opposition parties yesterday called for Prosecutor General Shim Woo-jung to resign following President Yoon's release from detention, warning an impeachment motion against Shim. The prosecution chose not to appeal the decision and proceeded with Yoon's release. The heads of the 5 parties claim that Shim's delayed response during the indictment in January became one of the causes for the release and decided to file a complaint against the Prosecutor General to the Corruption Investigation Office for high-ranking officials known as the CIO. Pocheon declared disaster zone as damages rise after accidental bombing. Acting President Choi Sang-mok ordered for Pocheon to be declared a disaster area for speedy recovery and support following the accidental dropping of Air Force bombs. A northern village in Pocheon, Gyeonggi Province, suffered large-scale damages after 2 KF-16 fighter jets abnormally dropped 8 Mk-82 bombs outside a training range during live fire drills last week. The number of damaged homes has grown from 58 to 142 following a second survey, with civilian injuries also rising to 19, according to local officials. Fraudulent insurance claims reach record high in 2024. The amount of payments collected via insurance fraud climbed to a record high last year, prompting authorities to step up efforts to curb such practices. The Financial Supervisory Service, or FSS, said that a record 1.15 trillion won was claimed through wrongful filings in 2024. Most suspects in their 20s and 30s were involved in cases related to car insurance, whereas those in their 50s or older were mostly involved in fraud related to hospitals, such as false hospitalization. The financial regulator said it would step up promotion to prevent seniors and younger generations from being involved in insurance fraud and work to root out such crimes. Clashes in Syria result in mass civilian killings. Entire families are being killed in northwest Syria as clashes between security forces and Assad regime loyalists resulted in the country's highest death toll since the start of its revolution in 2011. Fighting began after loyalists to the ousted Assad regime attacked security forces, sparking a wave of revenge attacks, including against civilians belonging to the minority Alawite sect. Syria's interim leader has appealed for unity as the United Nations has condemned the killings and called for investigations into the case. This was News Highlights. It's time for waglwagle, which means Haley's back in the studios with us.
Good morning again.
Yes. So there's a lot of teaching of Google going on in our chat room. I love it, especially by some of our newcomers here, at least the first-time comers to the chat room itself. I'm sure they've been listening for a while, like 멤바리당 and anti-fragile. Anti-fragile. Those usernames are schooling us on the losa and the losa.
And I love that as soon as we mentioned it, they just came in. So it's like they're geniuses. Yeah. Korean grammar geniuses.
Right. And everybody else, Souvenir, a lot of people chiming in on the Korean. We got to do more of these Korean language related.
Pop in, say hi.
Because I need to learn.
Me too.
Yes.
Me too.
All right, let's dive into our first story. It's almost been a month since Hanul, the child in Daejeon, was killed at school, and the teacher who allegedly did this has just now been put under detention.
Right, so this teacher, identified as by her surname Myung, she was arrested on Saturday night, which is 26 days after the crime happened. So this, of course, was the case at an elementary school in Daejeon, where this young child who should be going into second grade now, Hanul이, was killed. And the teacher tried to harm herself after the crime, so therefore she was hospitalized until the day before this warrant hearing. She herself did not attend the hearing. So this means that with her under detention, the police will now conduct additional investigation and question this teacher who's in custody and pass the case on to the prosecution, and that is expected to take place sometime this week.
Yes, indeed. And so that's the latest in that story. And now we're going to go to the U.S. for the next couple of stories. State of South Carolina conducted its first execution by firing squad. I mean, wow. In what is it, 15 years?
Right. So there is a trigger warning. We're going to be talking about the death penalty and violence and death.
Yes.
So a convicted double murder has been executed by a firing squad. So this is 총살형 in Korean. And this is the first such execution to take place in the U.S. since 2010. And this happened in South Carolina. So interestingly, though, this decision to be killed by a firing squad was his choice.
His choice?
It was by choice.
Oh, really?
So the 67-year-old Brad Sigmund, he chose the firing squad over the two other options offered to him, which were lethal injection and the electric chair.
Oh.
So Sigmund, what did he do? He was convicted in 2001 of bludgeoning to death of his ex-girlfriend's parents. And after the killings, he kidnapped his ex-girlfriend at gunpoint, but she managed to escape. So multiple killings and kidnapping attempt. So the reason that he chose this method over lethal injection was because South Carolina's 3 lethal injection executions, they inflicted apparently prolonged and potentially torturous deaths of the 3 others who died by death penalty. So in a final statement shared by his lawyer, Sigmund said he wanted his closing statement to be one of love and a calling to his fellow Christians to help us end the death penalty. And his lawyers actually did appeal the cases, but both the South Carolina governor and the U.S. Supreme Court declined to grant him clemency, which is basically to stop the execution. So how, in this day and age, how are these death by firing squads? How do they happen?
Right.
So there are 3 rifles that are fully loaded with live ammo. There's a wall that separates the person who is going to be killed and the executioners. This execution was also made open to the media as well. So experts say that this method is thought to actually cause nearly instant and the most immediate death and because of unconsciousness.
Yes.
By the way, this is the 4th firing squad execution since capital punishment or 사형제도 was reinstated in the U.S. in the 70s. Interestingly, all the previous 3 other cases happened in Utah.
Utah, interesting. So, I didn't know you could choose
the
manner in which you go, at least in this state.
Right.
All right, next up, we now know what happened to actor Gene Hackman and his wife, because I remember I picked up this story for Cat's Pick, but this is kind of a follow-up, right?
Right. So there was this mysterious death. Was it last week, the week before, of the famous Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman and his wife, who were both found dead in their home.
Yes.
So investigators now believe, after compiling the timeline together, that his wife, Betsy Arakawa, musician, she died a week before. And Gene Hackman, who now we know was suffering from Alzheimer's, he died a week later from heart disease. So investigation revealed that his wife, Betsy Arakawa, she died from a respiratory illness linked to the hantavirus, which is a rare disease that is transmitted through infected rodents. So health experts warn that the hantavirus can cause flu-like symptoms after you've been exposed to rodent droppings.
Okay.
And in severe cases, it can lead to a pulmonary syndrome, which is a life-threatening lung condition, likely what happened to Arakawa.
I see. Well, like you just said, the fact that he was suffering from Alzheimer's, I mean, I definitely did not know. I'm sure many people didn't.
Right. So the authorities have found out that Hackman had Alzheimer's disease, and he likely didn't realize that he was alone in his home before he died. So basically, they are still trying to piece together what happened, but he was likely in a very poor state of health because he had advanced Alzheimer's disease, which was a significant contributory factor to his death. So he was likely not aware that his wife had died. By the way, this case has also shed light over, again, going back to the hantavirus. It was first found in South Korea.
Yes.
This was during and after the Korean War, when Dr. Lee Ho-wang at Goryeo Korea University, they were trying to figure out what was causing a lot of respiratory illnesses of the UN troops working along the DMZ.
Okay.
And Dr. Lee is the first person who successfully separated the virus from lung tissue of rats while he was researching this. By the way, hantavirus was initially Hantan virus because it was found over or alongside Hantangang, the Hantan River. Right. So
the origin.
Right. So
we
it
have more
actually is
information.
connected to South Korea in that way.
Right. But once again, such a sad, tragic story. The demise of both those people. All right. Up next, we sometimes see cars on the roads with their lights off or their gas caps or flaps open. But, this story is like a whole different level.
Whole new level. Well,
Yes.
what do you do if you see like a car on, I call it stealth mode, late at night or early in the morning, and the lights are completely off? And I'm like, who are you trying to kill? Like, let's just, I try to kind of yell at them over, I roll down my passenger window and I'm like, light, like please. But
if
in
they're
any
coming
case,
towards me, I do the blinking.
the blinkers, right, because it's dangerous.
It's really
Speaking
dangerous.
of things that are dangerous, in Incheon's Namdong, their police station has received a report that a car in Namdong-gu district, it was driving on the road with the gas pump 주유건, the gas pump, and the hose hanging out of it. Exhibit
my gosh.
A. I present you the evidence.
I love the emoticon.
Because they had to cover the license plate, but very fitting. So the police tracked down the owner of the car, and turns out that the driver, a woman in her 50s, she put gas in the car, forgot, and just drove off, which it pulled out the hose and took it with her. Yeah.
I would have thought that like the hose, the nozzle would have fallen out, but it was like in there.
It was in there, and apparently the force of the car was stronger.
Wow.
She drove about 20 to 30 meters. The photo clearly went viral on social media. So thankfully, no major damages. I mean, except for that pump.
Yes.
The driver and the gas station, they agreed to let insurance handle it. So no police. The police report was filed, but the case is closed. But please, because I mean, if there's still gas guzzling out of it, that could have been seriously dangerous on the roads. So please, let's all check.
I just had an image of getting the call if you're the insurance agent.
I know. Can you imagine?
And like, what do you say to your the insurance agent? Like, you need to come quick because I had an incident, and they'll be like, "Well, what's the problem?" Well, the gas nozzle
with the gas nozzle
hanging out of my gas tank.
Yeah.
How do you even explain?
I'm always paranoid that I'm putting in the wrong gas. Because my family used to have a diesel car, and now we have gasoline cars. So I'm always like, because in my mind, it's diesel and gasoline, but it's like 경유 휘발유, and I'm like, all right, gasoline 휘발유, right? 휘발유. Yeah.
I still forget which side it's on.
Oh, because some cars are different.
Like for every car, it's left or right. It's like I rarely fill the car up.
Oh, right.
Every time, like the handful of times I've done it, I always check at
there
my
are
side
gas
view mirror
stations where the hoses are long enough where they go to the other side.
But still, it's like, it's kind of embarrassing. All right, final story. Every generation has its linguistic, we'll call it quirks, right? And the latest one seems to be a disregard for capitalization. First, like, how would we describe quirk? What's a quirk? Like 특이점, like some people might say,
right? So in my generation, we used to do the alternate capitalization, like morning wave, like small case M, capital O, and that. Anybody in Korea remember like the OTL? It was like if you type in OTL in all caps, it looks like someone who's like dejected and on the ground. So this is a story from The Guardian. Young people, aka Gen Zs, lowercase writing. All lowercase writing, no caps, so 소문자 only. That's a trend. So, when you mentioned you sometimes forget to press shift.
Yes.
You can just claim that you're a Gen Z. You're so young.
So young. So lazy and so young. Yes.
And I'm hearing some from my left.
Yes.
So this is apparently not just a style preference, but a cultural marker and values and attitudes to tradition. So, for example, Billie Eilish, very Gen Z, very famous, 23 years old. She uses lowercase letters in songs or album titles. So why? Because it has a better flow. Aesthetically, it's just simple. Because capitals can seem very stern or abrupt, so their values resonate more with a calm and friendly tone. So apparently, and this goes on, lowercase writing is a way to reject authority and rigidity that's associated with traditional grammar.
Okay.
So it fosters an atmosphere of inclusivity and emotional connection. So yeah, and
does it?
I mean. I don't know.
Does it?
I mean, but why did we use, and by the way, I did it in like handwriting too when I was writing notes to my friends. I would do the alternate capital and lowercase. So maybe. But yes, so alternating capitals again. So, but it goes to the point. Language is constantly evolving. Otherwise, it would be dead, especially with new technology.
Yes.
And that's another thing. Because first, again, with the alternate capitals, that was when the, it was IM, instant messaging. That was the thing, right? When messaging initially came about, so we were having fun with typing. Millennials, emojis, all these emojis. Apparently, that's a millennial thing. Gen Zs don't do it. Yeah. Do we have Gen Zs amongst our waivers? Let me know. Do you guys not do emojis anymore?
Yes.
So what am I supposed to do? And then, in Korean, it's 물결. Like, apparently that ages you if you use the 물결 at the end. Right, because
I do it all the time.
Because how are you supposed to say that you're being nice?
Like 부드럽게.
Right, like 아니야. And you have to do the 물결.
Right, because I want to let them know, like like, soft tone
right,
or
right.
joking.
Right, exactly. I know.
Yes.
Apparently, it's not a thing anymore.
Right.
Right. So using lowercase, again, apparently it seems more straightforward and free. And kids, young people are even turning off the auto capitalization function on their phones to really go with this aesthetic.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't even know where that is. So
I don't know where that is either. And like students still like ask me, they still ask me, when is I capitalized? I'm like, always. Sorry. 너무 정색했나요?
Me too.
I was like,
when is it not?
Like, when is it not, right? I was like, beginning, middle, end, wherever it comes. And it usually comes in the beginning or middle. But anyways, it's always capitalized.
Gen
and
Z.
Days are capitalized.
Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday.
Yes.
Yes.
Months are capitalized. Yes. Okay, well, I'll just stop there. 너무 꼰대 같아서 그만할게요.
We're not.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, Haley.
Bye.
Here's your traffic and weather. Here's your traffic update. There was an accident on Suyeongno from Daenam intersection to Yongso three-way intersection, right past Daenam intersection. Also, looking kind of busy on Mandokdaeru right now from Minam to Mandok intersection in both directions. Also congested on Byeongno going out of the city right around the Wondong interchange. And there's heavy traffic on Gwangnam-lo from KBS three-way intersection to Dongbang five-way intersection in both directions. As for the weather, it's a nice 7 degrees right now in Busan under clear skies. It's going to go up to 13. There is a big gap, though, between day and night, so, dress in layers if you can. Across the nation, spring-like weather, mostly clear skies, but Jeju might see some rain later tonight. If you're in the capital areas, Daejeon, Chungnam, or Jeonbuk, finest levels are bad, so you might want to mask up today. This was your traffic and weather. And here is Woman by Boa as requested by Benny.
똑같은 생각에 틀에 박혀있네 왜 더 가지 못해 바로 눈앞이네 한 발 디디면 확 튀는 시야 더 멀리 뛰어봐 안다고 다 알고 있는 게 아니야 영원한 우리만의 표정 그리고 멈춘 I've got it 그 속에서 있는 둘이 아닌 걸 I know it 제2의 누군 존재하지 않아 Feels good to be a
woman.
Hey yeah 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 비교는 너 있는 그대로 빛나 충분히 아름다워 To be a
woman.
Hey yeah 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 스타일리시해 모던한 그림 속에 탐험을 즐기는 나 진정한 woman 나다운 걸 원해 그럼 널 보여줘 지쳐 가지고선 찾아 다이아몬드 속고속여도 회방을 놓아 시선에 속지마 Oh yeah 여자다운 걸 강요했던 그때 Girls on top 여자다운 몰랐었던 그때 이제 나랑 진짜 필요한 그건 I've got it 내면이 강한 멋진 나인 걸 Feels good to be a
woman.
Hey yeah 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 보이는 게 전부라고 믿지 마 아직도 안 보여줬어 To be a
woman.
Hey yeah 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 뭐라 해도 내 안에 간직해오 화려한 spotlight 속에 진정한 woman 높아지는 자존감 I've got it I've got it 여유는 나만의 것 I've got it 미소는 날 저격해 Heart Queen 완벽하지 모든 게 다 올세 Feels good to be a
woman.
Hey yeah 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 비교는 너 있는 그대로 빛나 충분히 아름다워
Welcome back, everybody. So we've been talking about like punctuation, grammar in text messages. If you have a particular pet peeve. So Leslie says, I am trying not to be judgy for those only using lowercase. 소문자만 쓰는 사람들을 보면 그걸 이제 평가 안 하려고 굉장히 노력을 한대요. And then she adds, I am failing. 근데 실패라고. 레슬님은 항상 메시지 보낼 때 Leslie's so good at like capitalizing and, you know, when needed and not always like with really good grammar. So I can see like it probably bothers you, right, Leslie, when people don't properly punctuate or use, you know, incorrect grammar sometimes. So it's okay. I mean, we all have our you know, pet peeves. We all have our, you know, things that we can, you know, get behind and things that we're just like, that's a deal breaker. So that's along the lines of what we've been talking about throughout this morning, because apparently some people think like it's so bad, like it could kind of affect your relationship. Does it though? Does it affect you so much where like it really bothers you? Like if you are interested in a romantic partner and they send you a message and the spelling 문자 보냈는데 관심 있는 분이 문자를 다시 답을 받았는데요. 맞춤법이 틀렸어요. Does that turn you off? Just a side question I'm throwing out there. So think about that. I'll be back with our special interview. President Yoon Suk-yeol has been released from detention after the Seoul Western District Court canceled his arrest warrant, leading to his release after 51 days in custody. And this development has sparked debates about the legality of the investigation into his alleged insurrection charges and its potential impact on the ongoing impeachment trial at the Constitutional Court. So let's find out how important this ruling is from our expert, Professor Song Se-ryun, who is a professor of law at Kyunghee University. Hi, welcome back, Professor.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes. So let's take a look at the key reasons President Yoon Suk-yeol's legal team cited for requesting, I guess, the cancellation of his detention.
Well, the courts have given us a reason why the president is freed, and they're mostly procedural as far as I can see. So a lot of people want to read into this more than what it is, but as far as I can see, the key question is whether the legal detention period was up when the prosecutor charged him. And there is a kind of a very detailed calculation of detention period, and the question of whether you have to calculate it by days or by hours, and that seems to be a very important. There's a important precedent that's set by this decision. So to conclude, the president is freed because the court saw that the prosecution charged him several hours after the legal detention period is over. And the reason for their conclusion is that, you know, in their mind, there was a doubt as to whether it is proper to use days or hours. They saw that if anything is in doubt,
yes,
the ball in the air of benefiting the accused. So that's.
Well, Professor, why do you think the prosecution decided not to kind of take it up higher, or the prosecution's stance on this ruling?
Well, I think they were stunned that the decision kind of usurped what they thought was an established method of calculating the detention period.
Right.
They print out the form even to check to see whether the period is proper or not. But at this point, they chose, the court has chosen to set up a very important or very telling a precedent that it has to go by hours. And the reading of the statute is unclear to me either. It talks about days. So I think this is going to be, it would have been, I think, better from an academic's point of view, even if the immediate appeal was made so that this question was taken up by the higher court and have a very decisive decision. But at this point, that they chose not to do it. And probably another reason for not to file an immediate appeal is that not only the procedural hour calculation, but the court has also expressed doubts as to the a proper jurisdictional issue of the CIO. Now, they didn't go to the merit of whether CIO has the authority to investigate the insurrection or not, but they just noted that there was that was a kind of area of unclarity at this point.
Yes.
And the defense team raised it. So they said, without even deciding it, they noted that there is that contention and there's that debate.
Indeed. And so, in terms of the detention period, just so we're clear, can you explain it just one more time? Because it might be really confusing for lay people, because if this is setting some sort of precedent, I mean, this could affect just average people out here who, for whatever reason, might be detained or not. The calculation. So is it specifically just as each hour passes? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, it's somewhat like a confusion between your age as a Korean age and what used to be American age.
Right.
Go by the date or the year. The same kind of dynamics. In the statute, it says the detention period is 10 days.
10 days.
But they say that on the first day, no matter when it starts, it's a whole day, right? So by that, the practice has been that, if that's the case, then the whole day ends at midnight. So second day ends at midnight, third day ends at midnight. And that's what they have done so far. So they calculated in days.
Yes.
But the wrinkle is that if at any time during that detention period, courts reviews any procedure and therefore gets the evidences from the prosecution during which the prosecution cannot do anything, and that particular period is added onto that detention period. So if that happens, it's not 10 days, 10 days plus the time when the court spends on the review. And then they tack on it in terms of not days, but hours. So calculation gets a little bit mucked up a little bit. So at this point, the courts decided that if that's the case, you have days and the hours, then the hours or the period, they should be calculated to benefit the accused if there's any doubt. In dubio pro reo, that's the Latin, and they use in a scholarly terms to say that whenever there's a doubt, the decision should be made in favor of the accused. There are debates because like I said, the established procedure was thought to be doing it in days, but at this point, I think that this would become a precedent that the prosecution and the defense attorneys would continue to argue from now on until maybe a higher court takes up the question and put down the decision.
So for the time being, President Yoon has been released, and very curious about how this is going to affect the ongoing investigation and trial process, because mind you, there are two trials going on right now.
Right. The impeachment trial is by the Constitutional Court, and this decision mostly affects the criminal trial. Remember, the Constitutional Court trial is almost at the last stretch because the argument stage and the hearing stage is over, and the judges are getting together to decide on the verdict. So it should be that it shouldn't make much difference since the decision of the Central Court was procedural in nature. However, I think that it affects the both trials in several ways. One, because the detention period is the president is out of the detention, the prosecution probably does not feel as much pressure to finish their trial while he is detained.
I
so
see.
it removes the procedural kind of deadline to prepare for the trial. So it might lengthen or delay the criminal trials a little bit. Also, in the impeachment proceedings, there is a possibility, kind of a slight possibility, that the prosecution, the Constitutional Court, might want to review the decision of this procedural issues to see whether that affects their deliberation at all. I think it's a slight possibility, but that is also a possibility. I think since the president is out of detention, he's freer to meet with as many people as possible and work with the defense team as deeply as possible, overnight. Those kind of deep conversation might be possible. So I think that the defense team might add to their arsenal more arguments against this proceeding. So that might lengthen the kind of a preparation period.
So, Professor, I know you don't speak on behalf of the entire legal circle, but would you say that this decision thus far, in your personal opinion, that it does seem to favor Yoon's situation at least? The fact that he has been, he's now out of detention, that he has been released. And as you mentioned, he has, a widened circle. He can meet with, as you say, more lawyers or whomever he needs to meet with, that it will favor his case.
Right. It is a procedural victory for the defense team. But like I said, this decision is mostly on the criminal side, and the impact on the constitutional court side probably would be limited because the deliberation stage is over. And the constitutional court did not really accept the CIO's record and insurrection investigation as evidence for many reasons. So the impact is a little bit limited. But I think that the president's out of cage, so to speak, can not only work on the case more, but also he can rally his supporters more.
Right.
So political landscape probably is a little bit changed, and probably the street demonstration might be more fierce. And I think that this legal drama involving the president is going to be fiercer than ever.
Yes.
The traffic will be more jammed. We're looking at more drama going forward.
Yes. So to wrap up, as you just alluded to right now, Professor, that there's going to be more to come, that this decision, it will influence South Korea's political landscape and public opinion in the coming months.
Right. I think that we'll be hearing more from the defense team. And in a way, this unprecedented this case will generate more precedents. So it might be, better for the more fullness of the precedents.
Yes.
But I think that for several months since the last year, late last year, we are so engrossed in the legal drama of the top. I mean, for me, looking at what's happening in Korea and what's happening in the United States with
Right.
Donald Trump. Both presidents are taking up too much time of my attention. And I hope this cases or the situation would be over soon so that we can go back to, what was a normal life for us. But it's still going on.
Yes, of course. Well, thank you so much for sharing your legal expertise with our listeners, as there is a new facet to this case in particular. Thanks for joining us today, Professor.
My pleasure. Thank you.
This was Professor Song Se-ryun, and we talked about the latest in this drawn-out legal battle. Yoon has been released from detainment. That is the latest, President Yoon Suk-yeol. So that was your special interview. We're going to take a short song break. This is Whistle by Flo Rida.
Can you blow my whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we start real slow. You just put your lips together and you come real close. Can you blow my whistle, baby, here we go. Look, I'm betting you like people, and I'm betting you love freak mode, and I'm betting you like girls to give love to girls and stroke your little ego. I bet you I'm guilty, your honor. That's just how we live in my genre. Who in the hell done paved the road wider? There's only one flow and one rider. I'm a damn shame, order more champagne, full of damn hamstring, tryna put it on ya. Let your lips spin back around, come up. Slow it down, baby, take a little blow my whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we start real slow. You just put your lips together and you come real close. Can you blow my whistle, baby, here we go. I go, my whistle ready to blow. Shawty don't even know she can get in it for the low. Told me she not a pro, it's okay, it's under control. Show me soprano, cause girl you can handle. Baby with stars, so then you come up in park clothes. Girl I'm new, so my Bugatti the same nose. Show me a perfect pitch, you got it, my banjo. Talented with your lips like you blew out a candle. So I'm using, know you can make it whistle with the music. Hope you ain't got no issues, you can do it. Even if it's no bitch, you never lose it. Can you blow my whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we start real slow. You just put your lips together and you come real close. Can you blow my whistle, baby, here we go. Let me see you whistle while you work it. I'ma lay back, don't stop it. Cause I love it how you drop it on me. Now, tryna let that whistle blow. Yeah, baby, make that whistle blow. Can you blow my whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we start real slow. You just put your lips together and you come real close. Can you blow my whistle, baby, here we go.
Get your local up-to-date news from Korea and abroad right here on Morning Wave in Busan with Catherine. Stay tuned.
It's time for Bobby and Business Perspectives. Welcome.
Good morning,
You're
Catherine.
Always in such a good mood. How are you?
Why, it's the beginning of the week. Why not? It's a beautiful day.
I know, but like I've never seen you like not in a good mood, like in a bad mood.
Yes,
there are times.
Yes, of course.
Oh,
of
really?
course. Yes.
Okay, so you're human.
I'm human.
Hey, we're talking about like text messaging.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any like pet peeves, like whether it's like incorrect grammar or anything like that, or just things that like really bother you? Like for example, people like especially in Korean. I know your Korean and my Korean not so great, but like I try not to text
really
in Korean.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think I'm like one level slightly above Bobby. I mean, it's like it's all relative, but like I try to avoid texting in Korean if I can, unless I'm like really comfortable with that person. Like with our morning wave crew, we have a chat room and like we, converse in English and in Korean. But like I know that every mistake I make, they'll try to decipher my message.
Yes, but it brings a smile to my face because one of my pet peeves is proper grammar. Like like when folks write a sentence or a text like there or there.
Oh, I mentioned that earlier.
Something like that.
There.
But you know what's funny is because like I'm terrible at texting Korean, so like I don't know when to use like for folks like e or e. I don't know, but it sounds the same. So like I'm sure people are looking at me like, oh my.
Like you're such a hypocrite. Like you expect perfect English from me, but my Korean is terrible, right?
So that's why I'm laughing at myself right now.
Yes,
to bring that up.
Me too. Yes. All right. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, sure.
We're gonna get into business perspectives. What do you have for us?
So Catherine, before we get into the topic for the week, I wanted to do a little wordplay activity with you.
Yeah.
So for you, what comes to mind as I mentioned the following brand names?
Okay, here we go.
Xerox, Kleenex, Band-Aid, Q-Tip.
Oh, yeah.
Google.
The brands that have become like words on their own. What was the term for that?
Yes.
There's a word for it.
Yes.
What is it called?
Genericization.
Okay.
Genericization.
Say it slowly for a Korean listener.
Genericization.
Okay, meaning like...
So those brands, like you talked about, have become synonymous and used generically to describe the products themselves.
Yeah, so we say like, oh, I need a Band-Aid.
That's right.
We don't say we need a bandage.
Yes.
Like,
or a cotton swab for your ear. They just say, hey, give me a Q-tip.
Yes.
But that is the brand. And then they pretty much define that product category. Now, one brand that I would like to focus on today and that has that type of impact on its category and the related products
is
Kodak.
Oh, Kodak. Oh, my goodness. Yes.
And a little personal background. I grew up with Kodak as a brand. And to me, it has always been associated with traditional photography.
Yes.
Camera, film developing. Right? So when I got to Korea 6 years ago, I was so fascinated that the brand was still alive, although in this digital age where they kind of lost out. But lo and behold, it crossed industries into fashion.
I was so shocked as well. I grew up on that brand too. And my parents, for a little while, they had a professional photo lab where they used to print, not like family photos, like our snapshots, but it was for like magazines and print ads.
Oh.
And so I was really familiar with that. Yeah, the processing and like, it was for like major like fashion, like editing magazines and stuff out in LA.
Cow.
Right. So...
That's so cool.
Right.
So yes, it's a clothing brand. So it really caught my attention and kind of want to dig into Kodak as a brand today. The company we could talk maybe on another day.
Sure.
But the brand.
The brand.
So how did Kodak get its start? So to be clear, Kodak is the brand name that the Eastman Kodak Company created.
Yes.
A little about the company. It was founded in 1888 by George Eastman in Rochester, New York.
Okay.
Now, his vision was to make photography accessible to everyone.
Okay.
And his revolutionary invention of the company's camera fulfilled that mission. The company also had a very iconic slogan, which kind of caught my attention.
Yes.
You press the button, we do the rest. Right? And their early innovation simplified photography by providing a system where customers could take pictures and then send the actual camera back to the company to get the film developed.
Oh my gosh.
So a very radical approach that democratized photography, made it accessible to everyone.
Sure.
Because previously, before that, it was really for professionals and photo enthusiasts. So, talk more about the brand now.
Yes.
The Kodak logo. One of the most recognizable symbols.
Iconic.
Yes.
It's like that particular like yellow, orangey with the black,
yes.
if I remember correctly,
yes,
right?
Yes. Now, it dates back, their branding dates back to the late 19th century when the founder sought to create a name and logo that would be simple, memorable, and globally appealing.
Yes.
So he had that in mind. And the actual name Kodak, which was actually a made-up word, the founder created, and he believed that the letter K was strong, sharp, and penetrating.
That's right. K.
K.
For cat. I'm just kidding.
I was going to say Korea, too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I meant Korea.
Yeah.
So narcissistic. I'm thinking about my name first, but yes.
He wanted a name that was catchy and that would be easily remembered by people. So short, easy to pronounce in any language.
Sure.
Right? He was looking at the global appeal and distinct from any existing words at that time, so which would be ideal for trademarking. So that was a name. Now the logo, like you were talking about, bold, yellow, and red, right? And that was designed to evoke energy, creativity, and positivity.
Right.
Again, it aligned well with the brand's mission to make photography accessible to everybody. Now, the logo itself has had significant impact on branding and actually served as a benchmark for simplicity and effectiveness. Iconic, right? The bright colors and clean design had made it instantly recognizable for you and I, right? Helping establish a strong brand identity.
Sure.
And it became synonymous with quality, innovation, and photography, again, reinforcing the company's reputation as a leader in the industry.
Sure. Yes.
So, for some of our listeners that are out there watching us on YouTube Live, I got a source from 1000logos.net, and it talked about the progression of their logo over the years. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. So interesting.
Wow, it has changed a lot.
A lot, yeah. So in the early 1900s, there was a monogram of EKC that represented the Eastman Kodak Company. Very simple.
Yes.
The 1930s, the focus moved to the Kodak name.
Took out the E, the Eastman.
There you go, yep. And the red and yellow palette during that time as well. That's where the colors started coming into play.
Sure.
The 60s, there was a short-lived logo design with a corner curl. To me, it kind of looks like a paper airplane.
Right.
But I'm thinking maybe it represented like a half-curled sheet of film. I'm not sure. Right?
Okay.
In the 70s, this is where the iconic K symbol.
Yes.
Right, and that's always what comes to mind.
Yes.
Was introduced. That enlarged red K was stylized as a camera from a side view perspective. If you think about it, right?
Yes.
2006, the box symbol was dropped altogether to produce a simplified word mark.
I don't like that.
Yes. Now, they had some tough times. So the company actually went through bankruptcy in 2012. And when it reemerged from bankruptcy in 2013, it also brought back the 1971 logo in a more refined manner. And that's what we see today. Right?
So I'm so used to like the red and the orangey yellow.
Orange, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, overall, the growth of the brand. So at its peak, the company in the late 1990s, they were valued at over $31 billion.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Huge. Dominated photography market, strong
That's
presence
true.
in 150 or more countries.
Right.
In the U.S. alone, they controlled 80 to 90% of the market for film and cameras.
This is so true because I remember I told you about my parents.
Yeah.
It was either like the people who hired my parents to like do the print media.
Yeah.
It was like I would say like 90% they wanted the Kodak versus at that time the 10% was Fuji. Yeah. It was very lopsided. Yes.
Huge. Globally, also estimated they own 70% of the worldwide photographic film market. Challenges for the company.
Yes. What happened?
Okay, especially with the shift towards digital.
Oh yeah.
Now they were an early innovator in digital imaging.
What happened though?
They were not able to shift quickly because they were making so much money in traditional film.
Yeah.
So they were not able to shift away from the traditional film market. Now, the company's product portfolio has evolved significantly since that time, encompassing cameras, film, print solutions. And even apparel.
Which I was so shocked about. And Leslie even mentions, like, in Korea, like, there's a fashion brand, I'll just call it Nat G thing.
Yes.
Like she's like, why is this a fashion brand, right?
When I came, I was like, hey, wait, you got a jacket with your subscription to the magazine?
Exactly. But like some people don't realize there's a connection.
Yeah.
Like,
because I only think about the magazine.
Right,
Yes,
exactly,
yes.
with the photos.
Yes.
So
here in South Korea, the brand has found a unique niche by partnering with local fashion companies, highlight brands.
Smart though.
To launch retro-inspired fashion lines, really resonating with younger consumers.
Yes.
And showcasing their ability to adapt and remain culturally relevant.
This is important. But we got to jump to our phrase of the week because this is important. Also, it kind of gives us a little oomph on a Monday. So what is it?
The phrase is less is more.
Oh.
And this phrase means that simplicity and minimalism often lead to the most aesthetically pleasing results.
Yes.
Implying that adding too much can take away from that beauty.
Okay.
So if we think about Mr. Eastman and his envisioning of the brand by making the name simple with an objective for folks to easily remember, it seems to evoke the less is more principle.
I like.
So taking a page for all of us today.
Yes.
I would like for us to try and apply this principle into our daily lives this week. Is there a way that we can declutter our lives, whether it be in our work settings, the process steps we take, or even our decision-making frameworks?
Okay.
I want to put the challenge out there to see how we can take steps to simplify our lives and reduce some of the complexities.
Ooh.
So hopefully this type of challenge will affect our mindset and how we go about our daily lives to live a little bit more free.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Let's try that. I think it's doable.
It's
Let's
very
try
doable.
it.
Let's try it.
I'm going to try it. So thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. Very fascinating. And we'll check in with you next week. Thank you, Bobby.
Have a great week, everyone.
All right, everybody. It is time to wrap things up. How about this one, as Leslie mentioned, Kodachrome by Paul Simon. Enjoy and have a bright, beautiful day. Bye, everybody.
On all the crap I learned in high school, it's a wonder I can think at all. And my lack of education hasn't hurt me none. I can read the writing on the wall. Kodachrome, they give us those nice bright colors, give us the greens of summers, makes you think all the world's a sunny day. Oh yeah, I got an Nikon camera, I love to take a photograph, so mama don't take my Kodachrome away. If you took all the girls I knew when I was single, brought them all together for one night, I know they'd never match my sweet imagination. And everything looks worse in black and white. Kodachrome, they give us those nice bright colors, they give us the greens of summers, makes you think all the world's a sunny day. Oh yeah, I got a Nikon camera, I love to take photographs, so mama don't take my Kodachrome away.
부산의 축제 어디까지 즐겨보셨나요? 과거와 현재, 미래가 공존하는 항구도시 부산. 이곳 부산은 계절을 물들이는 다양한 축제로 늘 풍성합니다. 봄의 시작을 알리는 봄꽃 축제부터 부산의 여름을 만끽하는 바다 축제, 전 세계 영화인들이 모이는 부산국제영화제와 새로운 시작의 해맞이 축제까지. 부산의 축제는 우리의 열정을 가득 담고 있습니다. 바쁜 일상은 잠시 뒤로 하고 특별한 시간을 선물 받는 바로 이곳 부산에서 우리의 삶은 축제가 됩니다. 축제로 하나 되는 부산, 여러분은 어떤 축제를 기다리시나요? 이 캠페인은 대선공익재단과 BFM 부산영어방송이 함께합니다.
A new season of 2025 BEFM School Reporters is back. We're looking for passionate school reporters to deliver local news and create your very own school news. From March 4th at 10 a.m. to the 11th at midnight, we'll be accepting applications in the order they come in, not by how great you are in English. Students who attend elementary, middle, and high school, or